kept it in a saucer rather than in a glass. The following day, around the same time, the little girl asked for a saucer of milk again. Mum gladly obliged. Children like to play games with their food. The mother was just glad her daughter wanted to drink something healthy. The same happened at the same time for the next few days. The mother never actually saw her daughter drink the saucer of milk, so she began to wonder what the child was up to. She decided to secretly follow the little girl. In those days, nearly all the houses were raised off the ground on stumps. The little girl went outside the house, knelt down next to the side of the building, put down the saucer of milk, and softly called out into the dark spaces underneath the house. In a few moments, out came a huge black tiger snake. It began drinking the milk, with the little girl smiling only a few inches away. The mother could do nothing. Her child was too close. In terror, she watched until the snake finished the milk and went back under the house. That evening she told her husband on his return from work. He told his wife to give their daughter a saucer of milk again tomorrow. He would fix things. At the same time the next day, the little girl asked her mum for a saucer of milk. She took the saucer of milk outside, as usual, placed it next to the side of the house, and called out for her friend. As soon as the big tiger snake appeared from out of the darkness, there was the cracking explosion of a gun close by. The force of the bullet threw the tiger snake against one of the house stumps, splitting apart its head in front of the girl. Her father stood up from behind one of the bushes and put away his gun. From that time on, the little girl refused to eat. In the old man's words, she started fretting. Nothing the parents could do would make her eat. She had to go to the district hospital. They couldn't help her either. The little girl died. The father might just as well have shot his little girl when he blasted to death her friend in front of her eyes. I asked the old man who told me that story whether he thought that tiger snake would ever have harmed that little girl. "Not bloody likely," replied the old digger. I agreed, but not in the same words. The Snake, the Mare, and the Monk. I spent more than 8 years as a monk in Thailand. Most of that time I was in forest monasteries, living among snakes. When I arrived in 1974, I was told that in Thailand there are 100 species of snake. 99 are venomous. Their bite will kill you, and the other one will strangle you to death. During this time I saw snakes almost every day. Once I stepped on a 6-foot snake in my hut. We both jumped, fortunately, in opposite directions. I even peed on a snake early one morning, thinking it was a stick. I apologized, of course. Perhaps the snake thought it was being blessed with holy water. And once, while I was chanting at a ceremony, a snake slithered up the back of one of the other monks. Only when it reached his shoulder did the monk turn around to look, and the snake turned to look at him. I stopped chanting, and for a few ridiculous seconds the monk and the snake were eyeballing each other. The monk carefully flicked off his robe, the snake slid away, and we carried on with the chanting. We were trained as forest monks to develop loving kindness for all creatures, especially snakes. We cared for their welfare. That is why, in those days, no monk would ever be bitten. I saw 2 huge snakes while I was in Thailand. The first was a python at least 7 meters long, with a body as thick as my thigh. When you see something that size, you stop in disbelief. But it was real. I saw it again a few years later, and many other monks in that monastery also saw it. I have been told it is now dead. The other huge snake was a king cobra. It was on one of the 3 occasions living in Thai rainforests when I felt the atmosphere become electric, the hairs stand up on my neck, and my senses suddenly become inexplicably acute. I turned a corner of the jungle path to see a thick black snake blocking the 1.5-meter wide path. I could not see its head or its tail, both were in the bushes, and it was moving. By following its movement, I counted the length of that snake in path widths. It took 7 path widths until I saw the tail. That snake was over 10 metres long. I saw it. I told the local villagers. They told me it was a king cobra, a big one. A Thai monk disciple of Ajahn, now a famous teacher in his own right, was meditating in the Thai jungle with a number of monks. The sounds of an approaching creature caused them all to open their eyes. They saw a king cobra coming towards them. In some parts of Thailand, the king cobra also bears the name one-step snake, because after it strikes you, all you have left is one step, and then death. The king cobra came up to the senior monk, raised its head level with the monk's head, opened its hood, and began spitting. Sss! Sss! What would you do? It would be a waste of time running. Those big snakes can go much faster than you can. What the Thai monk did was to smile, gently raise his right hand, and softly pat the king cobra on the top of its head, saying in Thai, "Thank you for coming to visit me." All the monks saw that. This was a special monk with exceptional kindness. The king cobra stopped hissing, closed its hood, lowered its head to the ground, and went to see one of the other monks. Sss! Sss! That monk said later that no way was he going to try patting a king cobra on the head. He froze. He was terrified. He was silently wishing the king cobra would quickly go off and visit one of the other monks. That cobra-patting Thai monk once stayed several months at our monastery in Australia. We were building our main hall and had several other building projects waiting for approval at our local council's offices. The mayor of the local council came for a visit to see what we were doing.